background is where you did it together. What you guys think? You guys want to go on a cruise with us? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that sounds good. So we started this new year, 2017, talking about the things that we need to leave behind. Now, often when I prepare a message series, I start with the end. That way I know where I'm going. So you want to begin with the end. And so this is my last message, and to me, this is the most important one. This is the one that you got to get us. I got to get this one. You got to get this one. For your spiritual health, for your relationship with the Lord, for your physical health, for your soul, the health of your soul, your emotions, and your relationships with others. I mean, you got to get this one. You got to leave behind offense. Now, I'm not talking about football here. All right? I'm talking about offenses. I'm talking about when someone has hurt you, holding grudges, being offended. I have seen offense, accumulated offenses, destroy marriages, good friendships. I've seen more people leave a church because they took on an offense than everything else combined. I've seen churches split because of an offense. An offense is poison to your soul. It will destroy you, and it will destroy all the relationships around you, not just the one that you're offended. So you gotta leave offense behind as you move forward in 2017. So we're gonna look at the most famous of Jesus' stories. Now, you know it as the prodigal son. Jesus didn't name his stories. But if he was to name his story, I don't believe that he would have called it the prodigal son. Because the story is not about the prodigal son. The story is about the compassionate father. So if he was to name that story, I believe he would have called it the loving, the merciful, or the compassionate father. Now, I'm not Jesus, so I call it the offended brothers. That would be the title that I would give it. The offended brothers. Beginning with the younger brother. He was so offended by his father, his older brother, maybe by the family. He was so offended that he offended his father and basically wishing that he was dead, and said, I want the inheritance now, old man. I don't want to wait for you to die. Give it to me now. Wow, that's offense. The older brother, he was offended. The younger brother returns after leaving and squandering all the wealth, and Dad, he'd been praying for this. He didn't want to join the party that his dad threw for his younger brother. He was so offended at his dad that he became disrespectful. He accused him of being a poor father, of poor judgment, and giving his hard-earned money to that worthless son of his. He accused him of poor stewardship. So if I was to name the story that we all know as the prodigal son, I would call it the offended brothers. So sometimes when you're really familiar with something, you can miss things. So I want you to open your mind, and I want you to see this story differently. Not as the prodigal son. That in itself is a great message, that your Heavenly Father is waiting for you to come home, no matter what you've done. It's a great story. Not as the compassionate father, that you have a father who loves you unconditionally, but instead, today, I want us to look at that story as the offended brothers. So see it and hear it in a different way.
There once was a man who had 2 sons.
Hey, Dad!
Hey, yeah, not right now, son. We're working on something important here.
Come on.
The adults are talking right now.
Come on, this always happens!
The younger said to his father,
Dad, I want this coming to me right now.
so
Really?
the father divided the property between them.
Kidding me? You know he's just gonna waste it away, right?
It wasn't long before the younger son packed his bags and left for a distant country.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There, undisciplined and dissipated, he wasted everything that he had.
That didn't take long.
After he'd gone through all his money, there was a bad famine throughout the country, and he began to hurt. He signed on with a citizen there, who assigned him to the fields to slop the pigs. He was so hungry he would have eaten the corn cobs in the pig slop, but no one would give him any. This brought him to his senses.
All those farmhands working for my father, getting 3 meals a day. Here I am starving to death. You know what? I'm going to go to my father and I'm going to say, Father, I've sinned against God. I've sinned against you and I don't deserve to be called your son. Please take me as a helping hand.
He got right up and went home to his father. While he was still a long way off, his father saw him. His heart pounding, he ran out, embraced him. The son started his speech.
Father, I've sinned against God. I've sinned against you. And I don't deserve to be called your son ever again.
But the father wasn't listening. He was calling to the servants.
Quick, come on. Hey, I want you to bring a new set of clothes for my son, okay? And new shoes. Hey, I get the family ring, put it on this finger right now, okay? Whoa, wait. I want you to go out and get the best cap that we have, okay? And I want you to roast that thing, all right? It was just like super piece, like huge. Okay? No, the biggest piece you ever seen, right, for my son. Because he's back!
And they began to have a wonderful time. At this time, his older son was out in the field. And when the day's work was done, he came in. And as he approached the house, he heard the music and dancing. Calling over to one of the houseboys, he asked what is going on.
Servants, come. What's going on?
Do you not hear the music? Do you not see the lights? Your brother has returned, and your dad has ordered a feast. Barbecue, pulled pork chicken,
Well, the older brother stalked off in anger. He sulked and refused to join in. His father came out and tried to talk to him, but he would not listen.
Son, what's up? Look at all these years I've been serving you, and never have I ever given you a moment of grief. And then this son of yours after wasting his money on parties and prostitutes. And you decide to go all out on a feast?
You don't understand. You don't understand. I always have you with me. You're with me all the time. Everything I have is yours. Listen, everything I have is yours. Okay? This brother of yours, this son of mine, was dead. He was dead, and now he's alive. He was lost, and now he's found.
Kind of a sad story, isn't it? Doesn't really end well. So I call it the offended brother. So we're going to look today at the causes of offense, the consequences of offense, and some of you need a cure for your offense. So we're going to look at the cures. So if you would please, take out your message guide. Let's look together at the causes of an offense, the consequences of an offense, and the cures of an offense. Let's begin with the causes of an offense. Now, I don't really know what causes you to have an offense. I can only tell you what causes me to have an offense. Now, there are certain things that are pretty universal that cause all of us to be offended. When someone betrays us, when someone slanders our name, they lie about us, they gossip about us, which is really when they're telling something true about us, but they have no business doing it. When they steal from us, when they hurt someone that we love, those would be offenses that would be true to everyone. But there are some causes of an offense that are individual to you and your makeup, your personality, your environment that you grew up in, your culture. So I want to share with you mine, but you need to know what offends you so you can be ready for it. So you can be looking out for it. So, what offends me? One of them. I have a few. One of them is when someone borrows something from me and they return it broken and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, but it broke." I'm like, "Well, you know what? Fix it. Don't return it back to me broken." Duh! But I don't. Because I'm a pastor and I'll say everything I think. Neither should you. Or then just not returning it at all and I gotta go find it. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Or when somebody borrows something from me and I go to find where I put it and it's not there anymore. Now I know none of you come to my house and do that. But there may be others who are in my house that may do that. I don't know what happens in your house. But you put something right. You know why I can always find it? Because I always put it back. Maybe I need to move on because my offense is starting to build. Another thing that really offends me is when people don't return my calls. All right, I'm just saying it. Do you remember back in the day, 1700s, when you would call and you leave a message on someone's answer machine? Well, I have a good friend. I've known him since the 80s, and he just wouldn't return my calls, and now he doesn't return my texts. And for me, I just feel like that's disrespectful. It's just me. I feel like you should return someone's call. I see some of you right now return my text. I can see it right here. Pastor, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I don't know, but it's something I was taught. When I was in banking, you within 24 hours, hopefully that day, return the calls. Then it was emails, right? Return emails. Then it was text. Maybe it was something that was instilled. I'm not sure, but I just take that as a measure of respect. It's like I get offended by that. But maybe for you, you think, "Oh, grow up, Pastor. Come on. So what?" Well, obviously that doesn't offend you, but what does? I mean, come on, grow up. you got to know what offends you. So the first cause of an offense is unrealistic expectations. Know what offends you, because what offends you may not offend someone else. So you just need to realize, that maybe that's not. Maybe this friend, I self-talk. Y'all do self-talk. I just say, maybe obviously, that's not a value. That wasn't taught to them. But they have so many other great qualities. Am I going to allow that to cost that friendship? No, I'm not. Which leads me to number 2, causes of an offense. And I know that you may not do it. I do it all the time. It's called mind reading. Placing motive to the offense. So I remember in the earlier years of this friendship, when he wouldn't return my calls, I remember thinking, well, he just doesn't value our friendship like I do. I'm not sure I can really count on him, or I'm not sure really he cares about me like in the same way. And I'm not sure that he really respects me. No, he didn't return my calls. Right? That's the facts. Don't read motive. Don't try to go into mind reading. He doesn't return calls. Did you hear me on this one? Just stay with me. Okay, yeah, it's a little offensive he doesn't, but don't start adding more stuff to it. You feel I'm a little passionate about this, okay? So stay away from the mind reading. All right, number 3. When you don't get your way. I don't know about you. I like getting my way. Anybody else there on that one? I do. I just like getting my way. So when I don't get my way, I get offended. So I've come to a conclusion. Life isn't fair. Somebody say that. Life isn't fair. Get used to it. Life isn't fair. Get used to it. People are going to make promises and they're going to break them. At your place of work, you're going to work really hard for that raise, and you're not going to get it. Somebody else who didn't work as hard is. Or you're not going to get that promotion, somebody else is going to get it. And I'm not saying you shouldn't continue to fight for it, but you can't let an offense just get inside you. Just in case you haven't heard. Do you know people have favorites? Yeah, there's favoritism out there. People show favoritism. It ain't fair. Unless, of course, you're the one that's receiving that favoritism and you like it. Yeah, right? When favoritism is about you, oh yeah. You think it's you. You think you did something. All right, so causes of offense. Now, these are my causes. Maybe you have 4, 5, and 6. Some of you have 8, 9, and 10. All right, just saying. Unrealistic expectations. You didn't know what offends you. What are the things that are kind of distinct about you that offend you that may not offend the person next to you? Mind reading. That's placing motive to the offense that really wasn't there. Just look at the fact. The thing may be offensive, but don't add motive to it. Don't try to read the person's mind. And then causes of offense is when you don't get your way. You know what? Life just isn't going to be fair. And you just got to get over it. You just got to die to self and just believe that God's a big God, He's sovereign, and ultimately He wins. Really, isn't that? Because otherwise you're going to be angry all the time. Which leads us to the consequences of an offense. Number 1 is anger. Next time you're angry, some of you may be angry right now. You may be angry now. Next time you're angry, check this out. You are offended. Somebody has offended you. Next time you're angry, stop and think, okay, why am I angry? It's because you are offended. And if anger hangs around long enough, you'll become bitter. And bitter will eventually, where you'll become full of hatred. And anger is dangerous. Anger will cause you to say things and to do things that are stupid. Just stupid. And you'll regret them, and you'll pay for them for a long time sometimes. So what you need to do, when you see this consequence of an offense, this anger, when you see it coming up, you back away, and you think, why am I offended? I need grace for that offense. Life isn't fair. I should have gotten the raise. I should have gotten the promotion. I shouldn't have been overlooked. Or they hurt this person that I really love. You need to look at that offense before it turns into something that will ruin relationships. Look at Proverbs 18:19. This is a powerful, powerful passage. An offended friend is harder to win back than a fortified city. Arguments separate friends. Look at what it says there. Like a gate locked with bars. I've seen that in marriage. A fence, like two people with a gate, barred gate between them locked because of a fence. Holding hurt, holding grudges. Another translation says it this way: a brother wronged is more unyielding, listen to this, see this picture, than a fortified city. That person has built a wall around themselves. Disputes or offenses are like the barred gates of a citadel. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Get over your offense. Leave it behind. Just choose in 2017, not that you won't be offended, but you won't stay offended. Because Jesus said in Luke 17:1 that offense is going to happen. We're going to be offended. You're going to offend others, and you're going to be offended. Some of you are more offensive than others, so you're going to offend more than you're going to be offended. But in any case, you're going to be a recipient, and you're going to give it. But that anger will destroy relationships. Think about the younger brother. How much anger he must have, how it must have so clouded his vision. I mean, obviously he had a very compassionate father. I mean, not perfect. No father's perfect. No one is all good and no one is all bad. His father was well-to-do, could provide for him, had servants, had a farm. I mean, here this son was so angry that he was cloudy, he couldn't see things, and he did something, he said something very stupid. And that's what anger will do. The same with the older brother. You know, he's telling his dad, look at me, Dad, I'm the ultimate great son. Look at me, Dad, But you're a stupid dad, you know that. You're a foolish father. You're a poor steward. You're a bad judge of character. Look what that offense did. It caused him to judge a good man, his father. Offense will do that. So the consequences of an offense are anger. Always anger. Always. If you're angry, you're offended. And you look at that offense. Step away from it. Also, anger is always followed by isolation. The consequence of offense is isolation, pulling away from the things that are most important to you and the people. Church, friends, family. So you see the younger brother. It says in the story what Jesus told that he took all of his belongings. He was not ever planning on coming home again. Ever. That's isolation right there. And the older brother as well. After the younger brother returned and the father restored him, threw a party for him, the older brother, he heard about the party, and he wanted to stay outside. He isolated himself as well. He was offended by his father's generosity and love. Isn't that crazy? We have to understand something about isolation. Isolation first occurs inward before it becomes outward. Isolation first occurs in our heart. We feel rejected. And we begin to develop a spirit of rejection. And we begin to see everything through that filter of rejection. And then you know what happens? Is it then goes outward. Is we begin then to reject others. So we're offended, and then we begin to offend. We feel rejected, and then we begin to reject. That's the cycle of offense that's not dealt with. So when that offense begins in your heart, you need to deal with it right away. You need to apply the blood of Jesus to it. You need to ask for God's grace before it turns into number 3, which is self-pity. Feeling sorry for yourself. That's a victim spirit. You know, woe is me. I've been wrong, and I want everybody to know it, and I want everybody to feel sorry for me about it. And so I'm going to tell everybody all the time the same story over and over and over and over and over and over. Did I say over yet? Have you ever met someone like that? They tell the same story. Oh, and you know what I'm going to say to them? Get over it. Okay, it was wrong. Don't let it ruin your life. You know, some people are stuck in time. I'm going to talk about a minute. They're stuck in time. They're waiting for a settlement. They're waiting for justice. And you know, it may never come. It may never come on this earth. You just have to trust in God's justice. So the consequences of an offense is anger, isolation, becomes self-pity, feeling sorry for yourself. And then it becomes attacking. It goes to number 4, where you begin to accuse others of wrong motives. You begin to judge the thoughts and the intentions of the heart because you've been offended. So you see the older brother, he's accusing his younger brother of something that he has no clue about. He doesn't even know. He hasn't seen his younger brother yet. And he says to his father, "What? You're going to throw a party for your younger son who's been out squandering your wealth on prostitutes?" How does he know that? The son went to another country. They didn't have phones back then. They didn't have email or cell phone. He had no clue. Maybe the son wanted to prove himself to the father and to the older brother. But maybe he took his father's inheritance and went to another country, and he wanted to build his own empire or whatever, and he failed at it. The older brother doesn't have a clue. He just knows younger brother has returned. Now, he probably was basing it on past experience, but people can change. In any case, he's accusing him. An offense will always lead you to accuse others. It will always. It'll go from anger to isolation to self-pity to accusation. Every time it will follow that pattern, every time, if you let it go. If you let it loose, that's where it's going to go. And he accused his father. He accused his own father. You can just see it. Bam, he's bamming his dad. What's wrong with you? Can't you see? What kind of father are you? She's going to take advantage of you all over again. So let's look at the cures. We've looked at the causes of an offense. We've looked at the consequences. Let's look at the cures for an offense. Well, first of all, you need to expect to be offended. It's going to happen. Jesus told us offenses are going to happen. So don't let it surprise you. Be ready. Be ready to quickly forgive give grace, and move on. Expect offense. Number 2, and this is something I'm just going to keep reiterating, because this is what I see in my own self and also in others. Don't assume motive behind the offense. Listen, people will offend you and not know it. And they will offend you and not mean it. Some people's personalities just kind of lend it that way. And if that person who had a more aggressive personality was raised in a very toxic environment with a lot of anger, where they weren't taught boundaries, so when something bothers them or offends them, they become aggressive and they attack. That person may not even know what they're doing. They may not be aware of it. So sometimes you need to just give them grace and say, man, what happened to them? What kind of environment did they grow up in? Or if it's a spouse, you don't know what's going on with them at work or what's going on with them inside them. Just give them the benefit of the doubt. Give them grace. Don't take it personally. Just think, man, they're being a jerk. You know, they're being really stupid and insensitive. But I don't have it all together either. I may not be a jerk in that way, but I'm a jerk in other ways. So I'm just going to give them grace. I was so very proud to perform the wedding ceremony for my son Matthew. And actually, I had prepared the message for them 3 months beforehand. 3 months. I had it all done. I was ready. I had a message for Matthew and I had a message for Leah. So when I got to Leah, I said, Leah, I just told Matthew about Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that Matthew is to love you, to sacrifice himself for you. I said, but the Bible says for you, Leah, to respect your husbands. But I want to tell you something. Matthew, he's not always going to be loving. He's going to do some unloving things. So you need to be his biggest cheerleader, not just when things are up, not just when he's winning. That's easy. But when things are down and he's losing and he's under pressure, because he's going to say things and do things that he's not going to mean. And you can't take it personal. You can't withdraw respect because he's being unloving. You're going to have to just take that hurt to the Lord and think, oh, he's being a jerk again, Jesus. He's really being insensitive and he's really hurt me and I'm going to kill him. Jesus, help him, do something with him before I do. Yeah, all I'm doing is telling the story of Robin Kelly Speed, who became Robin Kelly Harper. Just telling her story. She had a husband who just was aggressive and angry. Jesus had to do a work in his life. She gave me a lot of grace. God could shape me and mold me. Take that anger that was in me away. And help me to know not to cross people's boundaries. I'm still convinced today that she's the only person that could ever put up with me that long. And Matthew's just like me. He's a better version of me. It's a 24-year-old version of me. When I was 24, wow, nowhere near where he was. He looks like me, acts like me, he's got his same personality, he's driven. He gets moody when things aren't going his way. because he likes things his way too. So my prayer is for Leo. By the way, don't tell this. They're on honeymoon right now. Let them enjoy it. All right, so we're talking about cures for an offense. Expect to be offended. Don't assume motive behind the offense. Give grace. Forgive the offender. Give grace. Some of you right now, you're still waiting for justice. You're waiting for that person to come to you and make things right, to apologize. You know what? For some, it ain't ever going to happen. They don't even think they really did offend you, or their pride, whatever's going to keep them from doing it. But you got to move on. And you just got to give that debt to the Lord and let Him take care of it. Trust in God's judgment. Because that will poison you. That anger, isolation, self-pity, accusation, it will just destroy you. So you need to forgive the offender. You need to just give the debt to God. You see there a quote, it's a powerful quote, that the happiest people are those who are not easily offended, who don't hold grudges, who give grace and move on. That's who I'm trying to be. That right there. That's your pastor. I'm not saying I've arrived there, but that's who I'm trying to be. So I wrote that quote about who I'm trying to be. And then number 4, the cures for an offense is only go to the offender when necessary. Don't go to every single person, every single time somebody offends you. Say, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You're way too sensitive. You need to get over yourself. That's ridiculous. But if you have a hard time letting go and moving on, then yes, Jesus said, you go to that person and seek reconciliation. But listen, it's hard to go through a day without somebody offending you. It's hard. If somebody had done something, look at you the wrong way, say something that maybe you misinterpret, whatever, you can't go, I didn't really like the way you looked at me just now. Or, what you said there just hurt me. Get over yourself. Just give them grace and move. Don't nitpick people, especially your spouse. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Give them grace. And if you find you can't let it go, then yes, go to them. If you need a mediator, have them. Okay, but most of the time you just need to say, God, I received grace for that. Person was being an idiot just then. And I don't really want to go to the idiot. Probably don't understand anyway, he's an idiot. So, I'm just going to give him grace and move on. So, Colossians 3:13 says, bear. Not this guy. Bear. Say bear. Bear. You know what bear means? It means to give grace and move on. Isn't that what bear means? Bear. Bear. Give grace and move on. Don't go to the offender every single time. Only when necessary. Only when you're not able to let it go. Bear. Bear with each other. And forgive. What's the next word? Whatever. Not whatever. Whatever. Not that kind of whatever. But whatever. Everything. All those offenses. Whatever. In other words, there's not any too small or not any too large. Look what it says. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. You're to release them. You're to forgive them. You're, first of all, not to be easily offended, but when you are, just receive God's grace for it and move on. If you can't let go of it, then go to the person. That's what that's saying right there. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. So you know what he's saying here? Is that nobody is all good and nobody is all bad, including you. And just as you've received grace and you've received forgiveness, you need to give it. So this past week, cleaning out my garage and doing some things, and I came across my rock collection here. I've got a rock collection I've had since I was a little boy. I love rocks. I don't know what it is, but I do. I just love shiny things. In my pool table room, I have all these different stones. And I've been collecting these rocks since I was a little boy. And when I was young, we would go somewhere on vacation. They had these little bags full of them. They were like $2. Now they're like $20 for those bags. And so you can see over the years, I've been collecting these rocks. And the Lord just spoke to me and said, you know, my people, my children, they're like these rocks. There's something very beautiful about them because I created them in my image. But they're also flawed. So, you see the beauty of that rock right there? See that? But on the other side, it's flawed. And you can choose which side you want to look at. You can choose to look at the beautiful side of a person, or you can choose to look at their flaws. So, if you were to come to my house and I was to beat you in pool, you would see my rocks, but you would see the more beautiful side. I have big rocks. What do they call the like at Smithsonian, those real big rocks and they're crystal type things? Somebody help me with that word. Gems, yeah, these big gemstones and things like that. You're going to come rob me now, aren't you? Still, I'll be offended if you do. So I have these little beautiful rocks, and I have the more beautiful side. They all have a side that's not beautiful. And I put the beautiful side up. You know, that's why the Bible says that love covers what? A multitude of sins. You know, you shouldn't expose your wife's sin or your husband's sin or your children's sin. You should cover them. Put them down so people don't see them. You know, everybody's got good in their marriage and bad in their marriage. Whatever you choose to focus on is whether you're going to have a good marriage or a bad marriage. Isn't that right? Everybody. Everybody's got bad in their marriage. Everybody's got good in their marriage. Whatever you choose to focus on is what you're going to have. The same with your friendships. Same with your job. Whatever you choose to focus on is what you're going to have. So this rock, these are valuable to me. I've spent a lot of money over these rocks over the years, and they mean something to me. And the Lord told me that I'm to give them to you because they're precious to me. Well, so is that person that has offended you. They're precious to the Lord. And He wants you to release them, to forgive them. Because, yeah, they are flawed. But they're also beautiful too. So this is my challenge today. Is I want you to come and I want you to take one of these beautiful stones that represents a person created in the image of God. Someone who's offended you. It could be a father or mother, brother or sister, best friend. Usually it's someone close to you that hurts you the deepest. It could just be a boss or a co-worker. And it may be several. You may, in first service, someone took like 2 handfuls. I guess they had a lot of things. Either that or they like my stones. I'm not sure which one, hopefully. But I want you to take a stone for each of the people who've offended you that you need to bury them. You need to finally just put it in the ground. You get a shovel. You can cover it. But I want you to bury the stone and bury the offense. So if it ever comes up again, you can say, no, I've buried that offense. I've forgiven and I've moved on. It's in the ground. It's buried. That person is beautiful to the Lord. They're precious to the Lord. I can't see it, but the Lord can. So I'm burying the offense and I'm burying the offender. And I'm moving on. So what to leave behind in 2017? Leave offense behind. So that's the end of my service today. For you to come and take as many rocks as you did. I had to take 2 first service. So unless the Lord tells me to take any more, that's what I'm staying with. 2 I got right here. You can't have mine. But that's the end of the service. These are precious to me. So you take a stone for each person that's offended you. You take it home, take it to the woods, take it wherever you want to. And you bury it.